I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, coming to you from Wisconsin. We're going to pretend that it's Friday, December 19th at 11:59 p.m., even though I know, a couple of minutes past midnight. I was listening to Juju crafting on the back 40 while I was prepping some things. So let me get my devices set up and we can get started. Almost there. Looks like we got part of it good here. Zippity, Doodah, welcome. Haven't seen you for a bit. Thank you for joining me. I just came in and I don't remember your first name or where you're from. I probably wrote it down at some point, hoping that I would, embed it in my memory, but sometimes that doesn't work out so well for me. You're a balcony sitter. You've chatted with us before though, I'm pretty sure. But welcome. I don't mind if you're a balcony sitter. That's fine. That's all good. Are you from Juju's group too? I think there's a bunch of you that are all kind of connected. So you're Texas Hill Country. Awesome. How's the weather by you? We'll see if I remember next time. I try, but it's late or early as the case may be. And I'm not as young as I used to be, so I don't try so hard to remember too much. 77 yesterday, 72 today. Nice. It's less than 20 here, so burr. But that's all right. All right. I'm going to just go over a few of my quickie announcements. You've heard these before if you've been hanging out, but I do have a new link for my online store, so it's latenightLori.stampinup.net instead of LoriMacari.stampinup.net. Late Night Lori is a little easier to spell, I figure. We have a new catalog. So you literally had freezing weather on Monday? I know you have some variant weather there. I don't know how far south you are. I didn't think it usually got too cold down there. Wow. See, we had wow, it seems like we had 70s not too awful long ago. 60s for sure, which is warm for us this time of year, but I'll take it. But now it's all icy again. So I think it's supposed to be above freezing for us again over the weekend. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully my video didn't freeze. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we got a new catalog coming out. I cannot show you the inside of the catalog. I can only show you this beautiful cover. It goes live January 6th. So if you're a customer, if you do not have a demonstrator and would like a paper catalog, let me know. I'd be more than happy to ship one to you. If you are already a demonstrator, make sure that if you don't have your paper one, that you go in for your next order and claim your catalog, because you do have to claim it initially for them to send it with your next order. Otherwise, I don't know when they mail them out automatically. But then while you're there, make sure if you're a customer, make sure you're opted in for Stampin' Rewards. All right, got my obligatory cough out of the way. So I can't show you the inside, but I can show you projects that I'm making with these products and new online exclusives. So we'll be playing a little bit with that. Your balcony faces north towards the lake. Ooh, I'll come visit you. I love 80-degree weather. I don't know why I live in Wisconsin, except that this is where my family was. So that's my loss, that I'm not in a warmer climate. Stampin' Up! Has this virtual card retreat. This is destined to be a really good event. It's a 2-day 7-ish hours each of the 2 days. 15 advanced cards and or techniques, tips presented by Stampin' Up! Folks. The kit, your collection of products, will have designer series paper that's exclusive to the retreat. It will have a pack of white basic cardstock. It will have some embellishments. It has 2 pieces of already laser cut pieces that you'll need for the variety of projects that we're doing. There'll be a PDF, there'll be cutting instructions, there'll be a pre-retreat video that goes through all of the cutting. What else is in there? There's a stamp set. I have to look now. Is there stamps and dies? Let's just take a look here. Oh yeah, there's envelopes. You'll have 15 envelopes to go with your cards. We have these flat Moody Palette glossy dots that I've used up almost all of my white ones. So there's white, balmy blue, the old olive and Secret Sea. We'll have some flip flaps. This stamp set is exclusive to the virtual retreat. And then we have this preview set. This will be coming out as either an online exclusive or in the next annual catalog. The Forever Florals. So there's a stamp set and a set of dies. So that's what comes with the retreat. You do not have to register for the retreat. Your purchase of the online retreat materials. Hi, Bon Bon. Your purchase of all of the materials is your registration, basically. It will all be presented live on Facebook. If you can't attend live or if you want to revisit everything afterwards, Stampin' Up! Is going to be downloading the videos, saving them, uploading them so that we have access to them into perpetuity or whatever. Hello, Bonnie. So there's that. And then, as Sarah Douglas, our CEO, calls this, part of the Cool Kids Club, product of the month for December. I haven't checked to see if it's still available, quite honestly. I wonder. If it's not available, I apologize. But I've been using this for the last 2 days. We're going to play some more with this today. We're going to do a little technique that we talked about yesterday with some masking. I'm not sure how the masking will work into a project because I was actually playing with some other layouts and thought, oh my goodness, I didn't do my masking. But I'm going to try to make these within the next couple of days. We cased this layout not too awful long ago. What's in your craft room, Bonnie? Once it's out of my mouth, it's usually gone. I don't remember what we were talking about. Hey, Juju. Everybody congratulate Juju on being home and having her son back with her. She's so excited. That's fun. All right, so that's the product of the month. This will be fun. If you are local to me and purchase the retreat, I plan to have a watch party basically for these 2 nights. I know it does go kind of late because it'll be, and not this, the retreat. Let me back up. I plan to have a watch party. I can't just have people here because part of the kit includes some of those 2 sheets, 12 by 12 sheets of basically the ephemera that's cut already. So we need those for all of the cards. So you really need the things in the kit in order to be able to do the retreat. So if you don't have the kit, it's not really going to do you any good to come and sit at the retreat with me. So that's that. That's that. Let's look at some of this designer series paper. I spread it all out today because I don't really think I need to go through all of the colors. If you need to see all of the pretty full-size sheets, you can look at the last couple of days. But we get 12 designs. They're 2-sided, so you get 2 sheets of each. But they're beautiful. It's Night of Navy and Balmy Blue. All right, so let's move this out of the way. Juju, I was a little late getting started because I was listening to you're live while I was trying to prep a few things. It is gorgeous paper. Much better even than what the picture shows. I have a few of my favorites. So this is the card we made last night. And we used the Gallery Blooms. And we first called this roses, but I think it might be peonies. It could be a variety of different flowers, I suppose, but it kind of looks more like the peonies that I have out in my yard. So we just did this one as monochromatic. We used the Everyday Arches dies to do those, made a little belly band, and we really maximized the use of the designer series paper. All right, so this is the front, that's the back, but nice little fun fold. If you want to see the measurements or how that came together, watch last night's video. And let me get that back on there. And then the night before, we did these two. So this is basically the same designer series paper, but this one I added some Daffodil Delight and some Lemon Lime Twist. And then we added some color there, where this one we went monochromatic, except for the little bit of Daffodil Delight that I have in there. So these are the same exact layout, where we just used the designer series paper, cut it 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I just cut off, I think, 1 1/4 or 1 1/2 inch, and just flipped it for the one side. All right. So let's put those aside and start taking a look at what we can work on tonight. I'm going to put this back with my Gallery Bloom stuff somewhere in there. So you're going to make an organizer for your craft room. I need to hire an organizer for my craft room because I have things organized. I have shelves and they're, stamp sets are here and papers there and inks are in certain places. And I have my tables for when I have my people over, but there's a place for everything and everything has a place. It's just not all put away. And I have too many things going on at one time. I try to clear things out when I'm done. When I finish a project, I try to put the things away, but sometimes it doesn't work very well. Let me shift this just a little bit so we can try to stay straight here. Oh, so what are you going to organize? What are you going to do to organize your stuff, Bonnie? I could probably use the suggestions. I mean, I've gone to some clear bins in my space because it keeps things looking a little more open rather than solid color bins that seem to fill up the space. I really like the clear organizers. So anyway, let me find all of the things that I started to play with. And we can get some of that other stuff out of the way, I think. All right, so I think we're going to play a little bit with this for the masking project. And we did this sentiment yesterday, so we may use that again because I really like this font. So last night I was talking about, with this card, I wasn't sure where to put the sentiment. If we put in the center, we kind of blocked off the flowers. So I ended up putting it down at the bottom, and this can actually go up a little further there. So it's more centered. But we ended up putting that down at the bottom, and it occurred to me that we could have used some masking paper and put a design over that. And then when you remove the masking paper, you've got a nice clean spot to put your sentiment. So I thought we would play with that a little bit today. And I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of just basic white, and we'll cut it down depending on what we want to happen. And then this is just a 3/4 inch piece of our masking paper. So Stampin' Up! Has this masking paper. I don't know if it's still $7 or if the price has increased. I've had mine for a bit, but this masking paper is really sticky. So my suggestion to you is when you get it, put it on your, maybe your clothes a little bit, just to remove some of the tack, because If you don't do that and you put it on your paper, if you're not careful when you peel it off, you can peel off your cardstock. All right. And I think I'm going to put this just a little lower than center. And let me just use my grid lines on here so I can try to get this straight-ish. And I think we'll kind of go right about there might work. Oh, did I get it crooked? I think that'll work. I was going to say that might be able to kind of do dual purpose there and hold it onto my glass mat. So what I thought I would do here is stamp this on here and then do a little ink blending as well, maybe with the Balmy Blue, because that Designer Series paper is Balmy Blue and Night of Navy. I need to go get my Balmy Blue because I put that away. Or did I? Where is it? Oh, my Balmy Blue is right in front of me, but I need my blending brush for Balmy Blue. All right, sometimes it's a struggle. All right, so you're gonna make it out of paper for your embossing stuff to fit in your cart. Yeah, I need to make some little boxes for my adhesives because I keep them in a nice little clear bin, but some of these things sneak down in there. So I think if I make a little organizer, I can still have it in my bin so it's portable, but then I'll keep those things kind of sorted. So I thought what we could do here is just a little bit of ink blending. You all know I enjoy ink blending. Well, Bonnie, I imagine you'll come up with something quite creative because you're good at those 3D things. And I'm just starting out really light because I just want some Balmy Blue. I guess that's not going to keep it stuck to my glass mat. But I'm kind of starting in the middle and working my way out. And I just want it ever so lightly blue with the Balmy. And then we're going to put some of that foliage on there. And we're going to see how it looks. So how was everybody's Friday? Or Saturday if you're already on the other side of the globe? And are people ready for Christmas for those who celebrate? We are not. We will be shopping this weekend. I have not put up a Christmas tree yet, but our granddaughter is coming on Sunday, so we'll probably have her do it then because the house just doesn't seem right without the Christmas tree up. I kind of felt like I was in the mood for a really big tree this year, and then I kind of got out of the mood. So just my little 4-foot tabletop tree is going up again. I think that's probably going to be enough. Let's leave the Balmy Blue for a minute here and see how we want to do these. I'm going to get rid of this stamp from last night. Because we'll need that for this one. All right, that's all put away. And then let's go ahead and put this on here. I have all my embossing things shelved That's my flat side. And I have not used this yet, so let's try to season this up a little bit. I have all my embossing things on a shelf so they're close to me. I have a couple of carts. One has my little coffee maker on it for my guests. And another has my packaging things for when I have to mail things out. All right, so let's do a couple of these in the balmy blue and see how that looks. And I think I'm gonna do it so that the stem is concealed. I should have my piercing mat under there, but didn't think about it. That's a pretty stamp. This reminds me of Very Versailles. I think Versailles was a stamp we had a while back. And then this one we're just going to do down here. I don't want it to restamp on the top, but I want to see just the edges of the leaves there. And I don't worry about what's going on that masking paper, of course, because that's getting peeled off. Oh, that didn't work out so well, did it? Let's see if I can line that up and fix it. No, that's all right, because we're going to put some other things over there anyway. So let's now, I think I want to do one in Night of Navy. Unless, will that be too busy? Maybe we'll just do the sentiment at Night in Navy. We'll see how that goes. Hello, Yuda. Just a quick hello, huh? And I'm going to go ahead and carefully peel this off. Again, I do not want to rip my paper. So our sentiment is going to go right in the middle there. And let's see, we're going to do that. I think we used I Like You Lots, or did we use a different one yesterday? Do I have another stamp out? Oh, this is a different set, that's why. I Like You Lots. Let's see what this other one said. Or maybe it was this one. We also have this Thinking of You. Maybe I'll use that. I don't remember what set we used last night. I have a few of them out here. Well, that's what we're going to use. Thinking of You. Well, if I do more foliage, it's going to cover up where we can stamp for the sentiment. Because we did masking on here specifically so that we would have a place for our sentiment. And I think we're going to do that in Night of Navy. I'm probably not going to like that. So I think what I'm going to do is turn this over. We're going to do this again. For those of you who might have missed it the first time. Oh, the sentiment came from the foliage set. Oh, yeah, Friendly Foliage, right there. Because it is right here. Thinking of You. I do like that one better. I do like that one better. So let's take care of that one. I think you're the one that picked that one last night too, didn't you, Yuda? It's funny how we like designs from one set and sentiments from another. There are some stamp sets that I get that there's just one stamp that I want. And I may not ever use some of the other ones in there. Now this one, I really liked that piece, which would make a fun element for this too. I know, Yuta, I'm glad you can laugh at me. I laugh at me. I've told you folks before, though, that once it's out of my mouth and there's a delay on my screen, I have already moved on. My brain has already moved on to the next thing, so I forget where we're heading. So I think I'll do, unless we want that one, maybe right in the middle would be better for this. I think I have that a little bit crooked. I think that might be close enough. All right, yes, I like the font of that one very much. So let's pull that one out before I forget about it again. But I knew that this sentiment or this font was similar to what we used. I've used a lot of these already. So Thinking of You is right here. Yeah, this font, I really like the scripted font on this one. All right. Oh, I guess I already had a block handy. Oh well. All right, so let's get our blending brush again. Let's get our Balmy Blue again. And I just wonder if, with this one, do we like the foliage that dark or should I stamp it off first? What do you think? We'll figure that out once I get some blending on here again. Good night, Yuta. Thanks for popping by. All right, so I think that's probably enough hint of blue. Let's go back to this foliage piece. I'm going to get my Pearson mat this time, though. And let's ink this up. And I think we'll just do full strength, just for the fun of it. And again, I'm still going to put the stem kind of in the middle here. And you know, I'm actually going to move this down a little bit because we may end up trimming this down because this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I may need to trim some of that down. All right. And then we'll do this one over this way. And I think I have to re-ink this ink pad too. That one turned out pretty good. All right, so let's get rid of this. Let's go ahead and peel this carefully. Even though I've used it before, I still want to peel gently, just because I have had it pull off my cardstock. And then we're going to do the Night of Navy. And Thinking of You. Now this would be perfect mint or yellow tape for that. How wide is that? Do you have to put several layers if you're... Well, I suppose it's probably about the same. I have some green frog tape. Maybe that's what you call the mint. So there's that. Now, it would be perfect if we had an oval for this one. So let's look at these dies, because we could turn this into an oval. Well, that would even be pretty just like that, wouldn't it? And then layer it on a card. What do you think? Maybe I should make a bigger one. What do we think of an arch? Everyday arches. That would be kind of similar to this one. That's actually kind of pretty. I was thinking what I could do is do a partial die cut it out here, but don't cut here, and then flip the die and do the bottom part and make it an oval. Should we try? And if we don't like it, then I can always just cut off the bottom to be straight. What would be fun though would be to fussy cut that so it's just hanging off. I think that would be fun. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way. And hopefully I won't lose any of it. I still have to stamp these on some paper so that I'm sure I'm not losing anything. And then this has dies in it too. These will just cut dots. This will just cut those hash marks. This will actually cut out the piece that looks wood grained. So those are kind of pretty too. And this will actually die cut the whole piece, I believe. There, yeah. It'll do the whole piece. There. So we could die cut the whole piece, but that won't go with the look of what I have in my head for this. And I don't know how that was on there. I'll figure that out later. All right, so let's get our die cut machine out here. Bossy Bessie, we need the bigger one because it's a little wider. And then we are going to, hello Robert, welcome. We're going to go ahead and line this up so that my base plate is here, but then my shim and my first cutting plate I'm going to have backed up, and then I'm going to have that edge over the edge of that cutting plate so that we can wait on cutting that bottom edge. All right, and then this plate can go right up here and not cut that bottom part. Well, thanks for popping in to say hello, Robert. All right. All right, so this just did a partial cut. And then what I can do is line this up like so. But what I want to do is cut this off so I know exactly where this ended. Because I do not want the die curve to go in the wrong place. All right, so let's just pop this back through here. And then this time we're going to put that up through the top. And we're going to put this die down here. And I need to hook up some of those dots. So I'm hooking up some of the dots from here that were already cut through. We're going to put that over the edge of the cutting plate. And then we're going to put this other cutting plate right over the top. And hopefully it will work good. Now, that might help me. There we go. Keep your fingers crossed that I didn't mess it up. Too bad Yuta left. She usually tries to stop me if I'm doing something wrong. Let's see how this looks. All right, it didn't quite cut all the way. So let's back it up and do it a little bit more. So we need to go this way. And it's a little bit crooked. So I'm going to go up just a little bit. We're going to end up cutting off that bottom, the tip of that bottom leaf, but I ended up a little bit crooked for whatever reason. It shifted on me. We'll see if this works. So now I have to go up to here. I'll try this again. Hopefully it'll work. Some dies are easier to do this double cut with. That one worked out pretty good. So there's just a little piece there that we'll have to trim just a little bit off. All right, I think that'll work. Let's get this out of the way. All right. So this has just a little rough edge here, you can see. So I'm just going to trim that with my snips, and most people won't notice. All right. So now let's go ahead and put that back so I don't lose my dies. And we're going to get a piece of balmy blue cardstock. We're going to make a base, or yeah, that'll be pretty, I think. But I need a whole piece of balmy blue here because I don't have any bases left. So we're going to score it the 4 1/4 that I normally do. And cut it 5 1/2. That. So now I think I want to wallpaper this with some of our pretty paper. What do you think? Do you think one of these would look good behind there? With just a frame of the balmy blue. Let me cut a couple of these down to size so we can try it out. I'm going to take this one to 4 by 5 1/4. That might be pretty. Or let's see, is there one that looks more vine-ish? That one might be pretty too. It would be even more monochromatic. We'll just try a couple of these and see. The more I cut up the paper, the more likely I am to use it, so. That looks pretty. And then what I think I'll do is use the dies and make a piece so that we can have it peeking out of the back. That might be pretty. I think those are probably the prettiest ones for this. This might work too, though. All right, so now we'll have some choices. Let me get these out of the way. All right. And then let's just do some balmy blue and see how that looks. I won't bring up my machine, I'll just do it off to the side here. All right, so let's go back to this. We could do that. We might actually have to stamp on there. That might be prettier, huh? See if I can line that up. If I can't, then I'll just stamp one and then cut it out with a die lined up on it afterwards. Let's see if we can line it up. I do like the photopolymer stamps because we can see through them. That looks pretty good. And then what we'll do is we'll just snip some of these apart. I'm going to have a lot of little pieces to put away. A lot of things to put away today. So Juju, did you send me anything about your bag thing, what I need to do if I send something to you? What if we put that off to the side a little bit and have these peeking out here? What do you think of that? And some gems. That's kind of retro looking. Let me zoom it in a little bit. What do you think? So we've got that one with the balmy blue. We could do the same thing with a more intense balmy blue. And that looks even more monochromatic because of the darker balmy blue. So this would be option 1. This would be option 2. Which one? The second one here, the darker one? I kind of like that darker one. And then option 3, I think might be too much dark blue because it's only that little bit of the sentiment that's dark blue. 1, 2, or 3? I think we all agree. Hello, Florence. When did you pop in? Welcome. Angela, welcome. All right, we're getting a lot of 2s. Nice. Looks like we've got some new folks chiming in. I appreciate that. So I think this is our favorite for everybody. And then we'll get some embellishments on there too, just some nice little gems. Yeah, so we have Florence, Angela, new chimer inners. Thank you so much. Well, I like this. I think that's cool. So let's go ahead and we'll glue this one on. I should have backed it up a little bit because you probably couldn't see all 3 choices very well. All right, that's pretty good. Let me back it out just a little bit more. I think that'll work. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this up on dimensionals. And that was the side I didn't get it stamped very well, even on my retry. So we just flipped it over. And then these pieces, I want to, I think, attach to the base of the card, but not necessarily the edges. So that they can come up a little bit and give some extra dimension. And I just need to make sure that I keep those inside the frame of the card. Bonnie, that's all right to fall asleep. I sat on the couch for a few minutes. I think it turned into about an hour because I lost a little time. I think that's probably pretty good there. And then I'm just making it so that these edges are not attached, so they can kind of curl up a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and take these off. Juju, have you used your Take Your Pick tool yet? I'm just going to have that off to the side there. And then, do we need some gems? And I'm thinking we could use these balmy blue ones because those are those Moody Palette glossy dots. Good job, Bonnie. I'm going to put one here just because that's got kind of where my die cut didn't work really well, that I didn't have quite lined up. And we'll put another one over here. Maybe not right there. Maybe down there. I think I need my tweezers. These are beautiful. I like them that they're flat because they're so much easier to put in the mail when they're flatter. Sometimes I can put them on with just my fingernails and sometimes not so much, obviously. There. Yeah, I have two of these now because I bought the virtual card retreat, and these are in the virtual card retreat as well. So now I don't have to feel like I have to skimp because I have a whole another pack. So when I find some that I really like, I usually buy more packs because then, like I said, I don't have to feel like I'm skimping. There. Nice job. I like it. You gals had good ideas. All right, so let's quick do a couple of these other layouts. You don't like the dots on there, Bonnie? You liked it better without them? You don't like them on there. They are so pretty. So you don't care for them on the card, but you like the card overall? Is that what you mean? Well, I felt like it needed something shiny, and I needed to cover up that one little mishap where my die didn't quite line up. All right, so there's that. Then let's go and we're just going to do a couple of quickie layout cards that you can help me decide what we need to do with these. Now I have a couple of die cuts already. So this is, no, I didn't use that. I used the Everyday Arches, and here we go. The Gallery Blooms. Yeah, everybody's tastes are different, Bonnie, so I'm not offended that you don't like it with the dots on. I could have done it with or without the dots, quite honestly. But I guess when, you know, when I hear like my team lead, when we do swaps, you have to layer, you have to embellish, and what else? There's 3 things that she says we always need to do. Layers, embellish, and something else, I don't know. So with this one, I thought we would do just an easy fun fold. So if you get a piece of cardstock that's 5.5 by 5.5, and if you score it at 1 1/4, I think, so 5.5, yeah, 5.5 by 5.5, score it at 1 1/4 or at 4 1/4, either way, whatever way you're looking through. This is just going to fold over. Now we did this a while back where I did the cardstock and then I had the designer series paper that worked on both sides so that we could see both sides of the paper on the inside and the outside of the card. All right. So I thought we could do something like that again, but I couldn't decide what designs I wanted to use. All right. So I cut with the arches a balmy blue piece, And my die actually lined up pretty good because I cut it straight. So I figured this could go in here. The flowers could go on there. And then we could put a sentiment on here. But I hadn't decided what sentiment yet. So that's one version. Okay. And then I thought I had 3 versions. And then I had this one. So that's here. And basically the same thing. Now, this one I felt like I needed the border. Petal Park would be a good one. Petal Park was a very fun set. All right. So I felt like I needed the Night of Navy border on there just to make just to pull it together. Because I had this. Now this was from last night and I fussy cut it. So that was from the Gallery of Blooms or something, some such thing. So we have that version. Or we have this version. I don't know if this is actually the best piece for it, but that's on the back side of this one. They are retired. But this designer series paper had such a similar flower, I thought this focal point worked well with that. And I didn't really know that I needed a border on there. Or we could do this. And I thought I had, oh, I cut that other piece there. This piece almost looked like it was going sideways to me. Like that should be right side up. So I'm going to cut another one of these so that it actually goes up and down. Instead of sideways. So that's only 4. I need another piece. So let's do this. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. All right, so that looks better to me, like it's going in the right direction. And then because I put this on a Night of Navy base, I didn't actually have to have a separate piece here. And then where did our rose go? We could do that and that. What do you think? Now the other thing I did, maybe if these will come out, they won't. I cut some of the pieces from the Gallery Blooms. Now when you've got really intricate pieces like this, pull from the bigger side down to the narrowest side. I thought these might be pretty on here. Oh, this did start coming out. There we go. So these could have gone on here too. Now whether they went like with the rose, I don't know that that actually works. What do you think? Does it work with the foliage behind the rose? Or the peony? To me it almost looked like this was too realistic and this was not. Does that make sense? So I think like a tone-on-tone version might be better. We could actually have those coming out the edge. If you use a precision plate, they come right out. My dyes, you know, usually the first time or two, they come out really good. And then once I've used them several times, I don't know if they get like paper fibers in there, but if I put a piece of wax paper in, they come out really good. These should be on the dark paper, like so. Or cut out of dark paper. Layered on dark or cut out of dark. It's like the circle should be dark too. We can do that. We can do whatever we want, right? That might need to go through a different second time. My plate's a little warped, so it doesn't always cut through the first time on these intricate ones. The side piece dark and the circle dark. And I think it would look cool with and different from the other card. Okay, we can do that. We can do Night of Navy. In the Everyday Arches. As I break apart my studio. Now what did I do with my arch? I just had it in my hand. There it is. Okay, there's one. And two, just in case we need two. And then we'll trim these down. So maybe about 1.5 inches. Yeah, 1.5 inches can come off of these. All right, so you're thinking like so. Let me get some of these dots loosened off of here. Most of those came off this time. I got a little piece there that didn't pop out. So like so. What's the back side of this? So that's so we can see both sides of the designer series paper, but I kind of like it because when we open it, we get to see the other side of the designer series paper. That's why this piece would be there. But then if we just put these peeking out over here. Oh, yep, I see your comment now, Bonnie. And then our sentiment could go down over there. That could work. I don't know that there's a right side up or an upside down because those, the stem is that way and those, the stem goes that way. All right, so let's see about this one maybe with using our floral piece. Let me get these other pieces out of here. Just the dark strip and having them on here, or still tucked under, or with the dark DSP. You don't like the strip of the designer series paper. Okay. And the only reason why I had it on there because it pulls it into the inside where the reverse side of this paper is. But we can do whatever we want. What do you think of that one? Dark strip, dark circle. Now the other thing is we've got this balmy blue ribbon, which is very shimmery. We could put that on there. And have that tucked under. What do you think? I kind of like that balmy blue in there. It's so sheer, but it's very shimmery. What do you think? With my hand sitting there. The ribbon is beautiful. Awesome. All right, so I can tuck that in there. Oh, as I back up and look under the camera view, that does look pretty striking. And then what about this one? But don't put the foliage all on top of each other. Spread it out a little bit. Or should I just use one on each one? Because I could have one tucked and one kind of on top. Or I could make the foliage one a little smaller too. Is that better or not? All right, so let's go ahead and attach this ribbon so that we can get that smoothed out. And we can see better what it's going to look like. See if I can get it centered. I don't know what just got on there. All right, so that'll go on there. So let's go ahead and glue that down because we know we like that. we can put that out of the way. Let's just poke this one out. What if well, that kind of gets hidden in there, so we won't use that dark one there. Read the one coming out, take the one with blooms, let's see, and down the line. So this one here along the ribbon. Yeah or no? Or on top of the ribbon. And then the foliage kind of in here. Spread. I'm just trying to read some of these other comments. So this works. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and put, let's put our semicircle down. Put the foliage down a little bit like it was. Okay. So that's going to kind of be like so. Leave the bloom. So this one kind of over the ribbon. I have to be careful so it doesn't go over the edge of the card, but I can kind of tilt a little bit so that the stem follows the ribbon. So leave the bloom there, right? The light one, correct? And then this one we can tuck under here. And then put a sentiment over here. Yes, it can hang on to the circle a little bit. So do I need to put this down a little bit more so that that hangs over like so? That probably is too far down. How about like so? Let's put a little glue on the back of here. Let's do the fine tip one. All right, come on, glue. I might have to get my pin. It wants to come out. Okay, let's give that a try. I did do that a couple of times and then I forgot to rub the glue off my hand. And I looked at my hand later and I had like lint on. I'm like, what in the world? And then it occurred to me that I had not taken the glue off my hand. I'm just going to spread this out a little bit. And I did try that after you told me about it, Bonnie, and I thought, oh yeah, that does work pretty good. I think that'll work. All right, so let's go ahead and lay this kind of here-ish. Oh, I still got glue kind of goobered on there. I'll just let that dry because there's a little bit there and I'll just have to get that off of there. And then this piece, I need a little bit more glue. How's that? Just dragging it through? Yeah, the problem is I still got glue on the front of there. I will have to refine my technique. All right, so this is gonna hang somewhere around here. All right. Like it or not, that's how it is. Unfortunately, I should have probably put that over a little bit more, but it'll be all right. Let me get my sticky fingers taken care of. Almost done. All right. So who got the product of the month paper? I know, we can only get one pack. Although if you know somebody who's going to place an order that doesn't like the paper, you could always ask them to get the paper for you. But then they'll probably fall in love with it when they see it, right? All right. So this now I need to attach there. So Bonnie, you do or do not like the paper? It looks way better in person than it did in the flyer. Bon. Remember, if you place your first order before the end of the year, I think I said the end of the year, you'll get a gift from me. So when you go to place your first order, you might get a message that says that you need to set up like your direct deposit account. So make sure you click into that and take care of that, because that way you have to do that before you can place your first order on your own. Just because if you sell to other customers and Stampin' Up! Has to deposit money into your account for your commissions or to pay for your orders, that information is already on file. And you have to maintain that yourself. They can't enter that over the phone or anything because of Security Exchange Commission rules. So yeah, they had you at Blue. That's right, Bonnie. You did say that the other day. So now the only thing I have to worry about is what we want to do for a sentiment. And I'm thinking at this point, I thought I could have embossed something on here, but I'm not sure that I like the choices that might fit there. So I may end up putting just a banner on here with a sentiment like, you know, a thinking of you, and having that banner across there. I might do it in balmy blue with the navy blue or the Night of Navy ink. We'll see. I think I'll probably do that tomorrow and surprise you with that tomorrow. So then we have this one. Do we like this better with or without that rose or the peony? And do we like it with or without the reverse side designer series paper? See, I was kind of thinking this could work kind of the same way this card did, and maybe not use, excuse me, maybe not use that floral image. Oh, Bon Bon, you're in the same boat as I am. It looked good at first, like it looked really good here. But on here, not so much, because then it was getting kind of busy with some of the other paper. So do we like this with the Night of Navy elements on here? All right, so Bon does not like the flower. Bonnie likes it with the flower. Because I still have one more. I'm going to trim this down. I'm going to trim that to 1 inch. Put that flower over the ribbon on the other card for a second. See, that kind of works to me. Although, I think if I were going to do that, I probably would not have put this piece on. I would have just done the foliage piece maybe. Well, we can take care of that because we can do a little bit of ink blending on there too. Or I can color it with alcohol blends. So what if we just did do we want any of the leaves green? What about that? Can you tell, did that make enough of a difference? Oh yeah, you can see the difference there. It is much better. Because that white was kind of in your face, wasn't it? I can make it even darker if you think it needs to be darker. So you like the flower on that one? And then the foliage on this one? And then I'm not sure that I want to use the flip side there, but when we go to the inside of the card, it shows. So I'm thinking this one. And you don't like the flowery thing behind it, and I don't know if I can. It's probably going to ruin the look underneath there. I could go up a little higher so it's a little more camouflaged. Try the flower on the light blue paper one. This one. That could be pretty. Can you see all three of those okay? So now remember, we also have another dark blue piece. We could even do something like that. So you like the flower on the lighter one. I agree. All right, so let me start putting these together. You like them all like they are, you mean? Like that? And this is such an easy fun fold, isn't it? And especially if you've got a designer series paper that you just cannot decide what side you like better, you get to utilize both sides and see them all. I would put bling on the dark blue circle under the foliage. Like what kind of let me look at this again. I would put bling on the dark blue here. Card 1, card 2, or card 3. 1, 2, or 3. Because they're all going to need sentiments also. And then I would definitely put some kind of rhinestones or something on them. And none of this one is attached, so maybe that's what you're talking about there. And I don't know, do you like this other arch here with the dark blue or not? That was just kind of an afterthought because I had that other Night of Navy arch that I cut 2 of just in case we needed them. But honey, you have to be more specific as to yes, because there's a delay and I don't know what yes was. Are you guys going to have me laughing again that I can't follow along? I'm so lost. All right. So these obviously I will put layers on the inside to kind of pull them together. This one I need to trim a little bit. You like the double. Okay. That's the only one that's got double on it, so. Yes, the layer. Phew. All right. You got to remember, it's 1:30 in the morning for me. All right, and then this we're going to put here, right? I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of the flower, but I'm going to glue the bottom of the stem. That's a drop shadow. That makes sense. Well, I did have that little bit of nap I told you when I sat down on the couch for a few minutes. It turned into be like an hour-ish. But I was up early, what is now yesterday, because I went and I met a friend of mine at the wellness center, And we walked probably for like an hour and a half. Now, I don't go at a super fast pace. I'm sure she would rather go faster, but I cannot get that pace anymore because then my my AFib usually kicks in. All right, so this will kind of go like so. I think that kind of works. And then we'll put a sentiment on here. So now this one, so you're up at 8 all week. So been going to bed at 11. And what time is it now by you, Bonnie? Are you Central Time? Is it 1:35-ish by you? I forget where some of you folks are. Bonnie, I think you're in Central Time, aren't you? All right, let's go ahead. Far right needs I can't do a shadow now because it's already glued. But that would be a good idea. But it can't happen until I make duplicates. So I would be afraid if I tried to do it with a marker or a pencil that it wouldn't look right to me. So are you saying like a pencil off to the side here for a shadow? Yeah, I would be afraid, like with my freehanding, I would be afraid that I wouldn't look right. Although I could use the die kind of as a template. So I could kind of put that on there and add a little something. Oh, I'm afraid. Be afraid, be very afraid. All right, let's get a piece of this paper and try it out. So you're saying with the gray, I'm thinking maybe the cloud cover. I was just typing that, like tracing that. Okay, let me get my alcohol blend. Oh, well, I can't use an alcohol blend because it'll leak through. Just juju it. So any color I do here will leak through unless I use a pencil. Let me get my watercolor pencils. And see what we've got. So we've got a basic gray here, but I think that might be too dark. We have balmy blue here. So let's just try it with balmy blue and see what that does. Far right for gray. This one for gray or this one for gray? Oh yeah, there'll be a sentiment and there'll be some bling for sure. All right, so let me finish gluing some of these together and we can see what I need to play with. All right, so this will definitely have some bling and a sentiment. Too bad I didn't have like a doily or something. With a white flower, like on this one, a white flower. I suppose it would help if I took the cover off. there is this, but I'd have to fussy cut it. Or there's this one. That could maybe go there. The other right. So this one's okay with the sentiment and bling. I don't need a drop shadow. All right, so this one will be all right. Okay. Phew. All right, let's put some of this together, because that'll help me from getting too confused when you folks pipe in and I can't keep up with where you're at. All right, so these I'll put together. And those will tuck under here. All right, well, I'm seeing some hearts, so something must be getting laid out okay. All right, so let's go ahead, and that's about a little over a 1/4 inch maybe. All right, well, you just have to be patient with me. Sometimes I'm just a little slow on the draw. And I think that one night, I think all of you were just messing with me, making me go back and forth and do this and do that. And I think you were just making fun of me. All right, does anything else need to tuck under this layer? How's that? Or should I leave this totally open and tuck all of it? I can make this foliage piece smaller too. Flower on top. I think I need chips that I know. Well, looking at the view from the top, this doesn't look too bad. What do you think? White set of leaves behind the blue. Okay, so let's look at these leaves. Are these too big? Same leaf. Oh, the same leaf. Okay. All right, so this one in white. Get all those extra little pieces out. There, we got it all. All right. All right, so this one with white. I can do that. We have the technology. Is your degree in art? I think you've probably told me about that too. Graphic arts, maybe? Oh, photography. Well, when you've got an eye for stuff, you've got an eye for stuff, you know? Sometimes I just have to let things sit and then come back. And then something just speaks to me. All right, there's a few little bits in there. I can get those out later. All right, so if we do this, I wonder if I should border that one with white too. Let me cut one of those out. In white, and we'll see how that looks. But now I do have to get all these little bits out of this one. Otherwise it won't cut as clean for the next layer. All right, let me get another piece of white. Well, I don't know if cream, very vanilla might work. Let's see if I have a piece handy. See, that would be the very vanilla, and I don't know if that would, I don't know that I like that as well with the balmy blue as the white. For the far left, these are all glued down already though. I mean, I could put it on top with the sentiment on top. Middle white. Yeah, I don't think the very vanilla works. I mean, I could always, let's balmy blue it a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's get some more balmy blue on here. Just a hint. And then I'm going to do this piece in white. Let's see how that looks. Well, the balmy blue white. Yeah, I saw that, what the Pantone or is that what they call it? Pantone color of the year? It's some kind of white. I also saw one that was, oh, something cloud. Or is that the white one? Pantone. Okay, yeah. I didn't read your whole message. Yeah, cloud something. I saw that. And we already have cloud cover, but this is a grayish blue. So we'll see. We'll see what Stampin' Up! Has. We'll get 5 new in colors with the May catalog. And then 5 of our colors from 24 to 26 will get retired. We always have 10 in colors going on. So there's current ones, and then there's 5. Cloud Dancer, that's it. Yes. I don't know if these could kind of be intertwined or not. Probably not. They don't lay nice enough. So this has just a little bit of that balmy blue. So now I'm thinking this white is too bright white. What do you think? What do you think of that? What about just a few sprigs of white instead of the whole branch? For this one? Yeah, I can certainly trim it down. Is it close to white on band? So you're talking about the new one? The Pantone color of the year, or is it close to white on here? No, this is balmy blue. So this is definitely a blue. And this I just put just a very little bit of balmy blue on there so it's not in your face white. Like this one is in your face white. I don't know if you can see the difference. I can see the difference from here. I like the navy over the white just like you had it. So there's a little piece in here I need to break out. Hello, Scrapbook Sage. Welcome. Have you been with us before? I'm not sure if I recognize the scrapbook part. Sage might sound familiar. All right, so just like I had it, no foliage, just the flower one. All right, so Scrapbook Sage Dawn from Juju's crew. Must be. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. All right, so just the foliage piece and not this one. So just like this. Like so. That might work on there. I could make it smaller to go with the sentiment. Well, happy birthday, Dawn. Okay, and Angela James, you popped in too. I hadn't seen you before, I don't think. Or did I just miss it? So is December 20th your birthday, or are you in a different time zone? So the 19th. All right. Well, for me, then happy belated birthday. Welcome. All right. So are we good with this one? Do I need less white on here? All right, so this one kind of like this when I start gluing it down, just like that is. Okay. So we can do that. All right, so I know putting glue on my hand might be good for some, but I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way here and just do some dotting with my glue. Sorry, Bonnie, I have to perfect my technique, and that's gonna come a different day. Well, I'm glad you decided to chime in, Angela. You can tell from having watched before that it is usually collaborative, unless I just have something in my brain that needs to come out. Usually it's just whatever happens, happens. All right, so that white piece is going to kind of go there-ish. It's stuck to my thumb, so it keeps moving. Well, that's where it's going now because that's where it's set down. All right, and then here, well, I haven't given up on it, Bonnie. I will keep trying to do it because it does, I mean, it does seem like it works. I just have to figure out exactly how to drag it without picking up too much glue. And maybe I had the glue too heavy on my hand. I don't know. What do you think? You saw how much glue I had. Maybe I had too much. I'm always open for new ideas, for different ways of doing things. And sometimes you just can't teach an old dog new tricks. So, you know, there's that. Let go. There we go. Now this would be a good instance where if I let this glue cure, so you smooth it with your finger all over the back of your hand. Okay. All right, so I had it glopped on there, which was not the intention. So I'll try it differently. But if I let this, you can see where some of this glue is becoming translucent. That would, if you have the patience to let it sit, then it actually is kind of repositionable. When you put it down, you can lift it up briefly until it's all the way set. That's kind of pretty. So let's see if I can lift that up a little bit, and I'm going to try to put that over onto the other flap. So Angela, you watch Mama Juju. I usually pop in there too, and a lot of times I have to catch her replay though, because she comes on right before me. Well, and I'm not a junk journal person, so you must do junk journals then? I do some journaling, mostly cards, some memory keeping, so I'm doing more scrapbooking. Everybody's got to have their niche, you know? Whatever speaks to you. All right, and then this I'm just going to lean a little bit over onto that top layer. Suri's fired. Is that what you just deleted? Something you didn't want to, you didn't mean to post? That's funny. I don't use Suri. Of course, I don't have an Apple anymore. I think Suri's an Apple thing, isn't she? I don't use Alexa. I don't use Google, whatever. All right, so do we like the balmy blue one on here or no? Yes? No? And maybe smaller with the sentiment banner. I'll do the sentiment banners later because we've already been on here for 2 hours. You folks don't usually keep me on here this long. And see, I've never done jelly printing. So I've seen Juju do some of hers. Okay. Bon says without. Bonnie, yes to what? With the white or without the white? All right, so one Bonnie says without, one Bonnie says yes. I'll have to play with it. You'll all be surprised tomorrow to see whether I put the white on there or not. And this is very lightly tinted balmy blue. So we'll see. All right. And then this piece, does this need to go anywhere or should I just ditch it? I don't think it works with that. I think I'm just going to ditch that piece and use it for something else. All right. So Zippity, I forgot. Did you tell me what your first name is? I know you're from Texas. That part I remember. Don't ask me why I remember that. Maybe cut it where your finger is and just put it in the middle. For this one, yeah, I'll be making this one smaller for sure if I use it. Because if I do, I will put it with the sentiment banner somehow on there. So it'll definitely be smaller. It's just I'm not sure how much smaller. No ditch. Bonnie, I don't get it. All right. So these use the same designer series paper. We get to use the front and the back. I will layer this with some Night of Navy to do my inner piece with white. This one is already Night of Navy, so that pulls in. Far right drop shadow. All right, so let's find my die again. What did I do with my die? Here it is. So if I use my die, oh, that's not the right size one. I need the bigger one. I have a lot of stuff going on here. Here it is. All right, so we use the bigger die and I get my balmy blue pencil. The dark one, girl. So So this one, I need to ditch it or not ditch it? Does it need to go somewhere? See, that's too dark on the dark. I would add sentiment or stitch or dot doodles in contrast on the circles. So the circles already have some stitching on them. All right, so this one I'm going to leave off to the side, if that's what you mean. All right, and then this one I need to do a little drop layer there. And I need to find my balmy blue. Here's balmy blue. Now, I had a piece out here. Ditch the dark piece. Got it. Okay. All right. So if I do this, I'm just going to practice on here. So if I use this as my template, that seems really dark to me. So that would go around there. Let's do, I want to see how that's going to look a little bit. So I'm going to cut this down just a little bit. Hang in there. No, don't do anything to that card. It looks good just like that. Well, that's why I'm just practicing, because I'm not convinced that the pencil looks good on there. So even if, let me just cut another little bit off of here. Oh, for goodness sakes. Okay. So I don't think that that's going to work on here for me. If I would have not glued it and maybe put another layer like we did here, I think it would look all right. But adding what I would call like fake color, it just doesn't flow to me. So sorry. Zippity, I think that was your idea, right? Sorry. I'm not very good at that today. Maybe another day. Yeah, no. All right, well, we could always smile about it, but yeah, maybe another one. Yeah, and I have some other shades, but that's the balmy blue. And it's actually, since it's a watercolor marker, it's meant to be kind of diluted with water. But I don't want to do that because we're using both sides. So come back later and I will get some sentiments on here and decide whether we're going to use this piece or not. And I will add some bling. Sometimes simple is perfect. Nice. Yeah. That is kind of Clean, simple. Yeah, that works. All right, so I have a little bit of a mess to clean up. I got to figure out where some of these things go again. But that's all I'm doing for tonight. You've kept me going for over 2 hours. MacMan will wonder why I'm not up until like 10 in the morning. And we have Christmas shopping to do. So beautiful. I will put sentiments on these. I will put some gems on them. And we'll see what they look like next time. All right. Thank you all for popping in. Thank you all for collaborating and for not all staying in the balcony. I appreciate that. And I get it, though, when you do. Right? We got to point a finger at somebody, right? Thank you, everybody, for popping in. Yes, have a great night, everybody. Have a good day. Get some sleep. Or finish your day wherever you're joining from. And until next time, happy crafting, everybody. Lori, you're here. I think that's the first you popped in, right? I didn't notice your name before. And my camera is super crooked. What is up with that? Did I go the wrong way? Oh, well, it is what it is. Good night, everybody. Have a good night. Have a good day. We'll catch you next time. Oop, that was the wrong way. There we go. Happy crafting.